But okay, how are Star and Ludo alike? Like two sides of the same coin? Well, I feel like they're polar opposites who in a way kind of yearn for each other's lives without realizing the grass is greener. Star and Ludo both feel like they're stifled by their roles in the world. Star wants to be a free spirit and not be queen because of the massive suffocating responsibilities it entails. Whereas Ludo, well, he wants to be king, but not for the responsibilities, rather the respect that would come with the position, and all the luxuries. In a way, both would think they would thrive if they switch lives. Star would think then she'd have all these extra siblings to spend time with, since in Ponymonium, she liked the idea of having a bunch of sisters, at least until she realized that in a monarchy, only the first sibling inherits anything, whereas the rest are just there to look pretty, which can lead to a lot of scheming and backstabbing. So she might think oh, it would be cool to have 50 siblings. Oh, wait a minute. And to make matters worse, for as stuffy as her parents can be, they do love her. The Avariuses don't love Ludo. That's kind of sad to say, but it's true. Honestly, I think this is an added reason why Ludo was so hyper-fixated on Star for so long. There's the implication he and Star knew each other for years. I wouldn't be surprised if Ludo went to Star's court for a while. Perhaps he saw what she had and got jealous. But okay, I've rambled on long enough. Moon journeys through the forest and meets Dennis, who has the voice of an angel. And that's not me being sarcastic. I actually like his voice.
It's me, Dennis. You were just at my house.
Why are you following me?
Are you looking for my big brother because you want to help?
BTW, Dennis is voiced by Atticus Shaffer, who also voices Petey in Steven Universe, if you're curious why his voice sounds kind of deja vu-ish. Dennis is a type of psychological familial role called the Cycle Breaker, where he's in a toxic family and he realizes how toxic the family is and he wants to change it. But because Cycle Breakers often see the patterns and reject them, well, they tend to not fit in with their family, as we'll later learn. Since Ludo's parents just think he's a lost cause, even though they're the ones responsible for turning him into that lost cause. Meanwhile, Ludo is the black sheep, aka the Bruno, where he did something and therefore he can't be talked about. In this case, taking their castle, which is bad until you know the circumstances behind it. In addition to also being the scapegoat, since they blamed him for everything, they were extra hard on him, when really, the castle getting destroyed, that was Star and Toffee's fault. Ludo had nothing to do with it. Dennis tells Moon he's been stalking Ludo and he's worried about him, and he'll take Moon to him. No tricks, no nothing.
What is this?
We must go by wing, milady.
Oh. Alright then, well, let me just hold on.
Kinda reminds me of Rick and Phoenix person. But Moon notices the extra wand and rushes back to the castle to put on her cool warrior queen outfit, and to be sure that Dennis can't get hurt.
So, can you help him?
I'll do what I can.
At least until she remembers Song Day, so this gets delayed to the next episode. At Song Day, Star tries to do different from the princesses before her and actually tell the people of Muni that she lost the book, which they are clearly pissed about. But the Magic High Commission now know too, so they and Moon rush to Ludo's temple and go interrogate him. Moon demands to know where Glossaric is while also taking Ludo's wand back, but Ludo says that Glossaric is gone, probably celebrating National No Ludo Day.
The next thing I know, I wake up and they're gone.
Oh, come on, you stole the book.
Whoa. Glossaric said the book is mine now.
Well, to be fair, the book was yours because you stole it. So yes, in a way, you did steal it, Ludo.
I think we can all agree Glossaric comes and goes as he pleases.
Yeah, that part is actually true. But Glossaric is still tied to the book, so wouldn't it be a little fishy if he isn't there anymore? Ludo says the wand doesn't work anymore, and Moon has nothing on him. Even if he still did a crime, but okay. However, Moon does try to sympathize with Ludo, pointing out how she saw his family, although she probably did not see the red flags because she was wearing rose-colored glasses. And Moon is left alone with him as an armchair therapist for him to basically cry on without crying. He lays out to her that his family is abusive and bad, since honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Moon just did not notice the signs. However, Moon does tell him that somebody does care for him, Dennis, and this makes him soften up a little.
But I do know that Dennis misses you.
How is he?
But he still stubbornly insists he doesn't need Moon's help, or anyone's for that matter.
Don't you get it? I lost my army, my kingdom, my clothes. And look, still standing.
Ludo, stop being relatable! God damn it! God! This this whole video, and we're not even halfway done. But Ludo doesn't say anything, or maybe he did, and Moon is so overwhelmed that she now looks like Also, Toffee was able to take the wand back, put it into Ludo's arm, because I think those were his bones. Well, goodbye, Ludo's finger. I hope you like pulling a Serena Joy, and...
Ludo? Ludo's not here right now. But if you'd like, you can leave a message.
The heck does that mean? Toffee Ludo fights the Magic High Commission until Lekmid uses his magic to bring Moon back to life, at the cost of his own, and his brothers and sister are all turned into whatever Moon was. They had their soul sucked, okay? I probably should have led with that. Moon takes the Magic High Commission to safety, and with nobody left to stop him, he decides to go after Star.
Tell Star I'm coming for my finger.
Which leads into Battle for Muni, where Ludo finally gets everything he wants, but at what cost? In Book Begone, Ludo wakes up after his battle with the Magic High Commission, where Toffee used him as a meat puppet. What would Ludo even taste like? I've never tried turtle, I've always wanted to. What do turtles taste like? Me and Shredder want to know. And we find out Glossaryck is actually safe and sound. Toffee just told him to go hide somewhere the Commission couldn't find him. Just like Mina Loveberry. Surprised she didn't try to attack Ludo, but then again, he's an Avarius, so one of the good ones, I suppose. Because Toffee possessed Ludo, technically Toffee now owns the book and the wand, and Glossaryck does as he's commanded by his owner. Meaning, he no longer has to treat Ludo with little kid gloves, and for Glossaryck, it was a long time coming. He can bully the kid and everything. For instance, Ludo finds out he can't write in the book anymore, and rather than explaining precisely why to him, he instead just screws with him.
The thing.
What's the thing?
The book thing. You don't own it anymore. That's it.
But that doesn't make any sense. I took it. It's right there.
But also considering what happens at the end of the episode, part of me feels like he was doing this on purpose to wind up Ludo with enough anger so he'd lose his temper and do something crazy. It needed to happen, he knew it was going to happen, but hey, he can have fun with it. He doesn't like this guy anyway. The final straw comes when he tells Ludo super sarcastically to just ask the book how to open it. And when Ludo bares his heart and soul to the book, aww, he laughs in his face for being vulnerable for once.
I'm so... I thought you were on the, oh, never mind.
Oh, yes.
Well, I wonder why people don't want to open up. Maybe this is precisely why. Ludo gets angry enough that he decides that if he can't have the book, nobody can. So he throws it into a nearby campfire, which because Glossaryck is tied to the book, also kills him. Physically, not permanently. Y'all know this by now.
You know, even though I knew this was coming, it's still kind of a surprise.
You know, I'm gonna be honest, I did not feel bad when Glossaryck died, despite the episode telling me I should. I mean, I did gasp because I felt like it was a big status quo shaker, but I didn't feel bad like, oh no, we killed Glossaryck. I mean, I like Glossaryck as a character, but I never found him sympathetic. Plus, we all know he's super enigmatic, so yeah, he'd probably be back the next episode or something. Not gonna lie, I felt this a lot with Starverses. Them getting rid of characters who weren't Toffee was pretty cheap. When Buttfrog and the monsters left, I was like, oh no, so they're gonna be back next season, right guys? So I kind of felt the same way here, oh no, you acted like a jerk and you finally got karma and nobody likes you, poor you. But Ludo wakes up and realizes what he did, and yeah, Ludo is the only one I actually feel bad for.
Oh, Glossaryck! Oh, no. Glossaryck! What have I done? I'm sorry. No.
Because regardless of what he did to Glossaryck, well, part of the tragedy is he did truly like Glossaryck. Glossaryck was probably the only person he actually did like. And he thought Glossaryck returned the affection because he was that love-starved. But Ludo has a pattern of getting attached to people and then getting betrayed or burned. Damn it, Ludo! But he didn't realize how conditional this was, since for once, yes, he kidnapped Glossaryck, and two, Glossaryck is still a teacher, and Ludo is basically a glorified client. A teacher might feel a sense of closeness to their student, but unfortunately for many teachers at the end of the day, sometimes it's still just a job, no matter how much you like the kids. Ludo didn't call Glossaryck any cute nickname like Glossy or Mr. G. That makes me distrust him. Anyhow, without Glossaryck, Ludo is now further isolated, and when you're isolated, that means somebody can swoop in and take over. This time, it's Toffee, who commands Ludo to march to the Butterfly Castle and take over.
Right. The book was a distraction. We don't need it anymore. We don't need anyone anymore.
And I just realized this whole scenario kind of parallels what happened in Season 1, where Toffee makes himself, or at least a version of himself, seem super awesome in order to gain Ludo's trust, and then waited until the perfect moment to remove the only person who could possibly help Ludo, in this case Glossaric, and engineered it so Ludo would be the one to pull the trigger. Then, once Ludo was alone, he put him into a position where Ludo would think he'd get what he wanted, which was really what Toffee wanted. And then, once Toffee got what he wanted, he would just discard Ludo like a big sack of garbage. Aw, poor Ludo. But we'll get there when we get there. Ludo goes to Muni with Spider and Bird, clever names, and his rats, and he unleashes his fury on all. Come Puddle Defender, we learn that he did succeed, and King Ludo basically has him actually do stuff as king. He uses his rats in order to spy on people as a form of Big Brother, and he gets rid of everything that reminds him of Star, Moon, and River, including pancakes.
Wait, what am I looking at here? Ah! No butterflies! Get that out of here!
What do you got against pancakes? Are you a waffle person? It's basically pancakes, but with creepy bumps. However, Ludo learns that being a king is a lot harder than conquering a kingdom. I mean, you have to conquer people's hearts. Remember when Scar took over the Pride Lands and he had to hold up his end of the bargain and actually let the hyenas eat their weight in food, and they ate everything in sight like a horde of hungry zombie locusts and upset the natural order? Picture that, but with rats. So his approval ratings end up in Splatty Tomato, since you can be a leader and still have people hate you. I mean, come on, he hasn't done anything to endear himself to them, and that's just among the humans. The monsters, well, unfortunately, we never get their opinions, but I assume they're equally hating, probably more than before, considering how he hasn't done anything for them. Despite being a monster too, he only became a king for Ludo. He tries to get River to work on his behalf to help rehabilitate his image, but of course River isn't willing.
What do you want? You're coming with me. No way. I'm not going anywhere with you. That's too bad. It's urgent royal business.
And I'm surprised the episode never really comments on how he and River sound similar, and this is like the only time they ever really interact. Alan Tudyk really has range. Like, this dude was an American dad. Not even the threat of being levitadoed is enough to sway River. I mean, he's a Johansson. I'm sure just getting thrown up in the air and then falling down is something he's used to. But the only good thing Ludo does as king is say he actually does like the mime.
You're all hacks, except for the mime. She's a genius.
Aw, shucks. But I feel like as a leader, or any kind of an authority figure, if you make a thread, you should make good on it. Or if you were wrong, you should admit you were wrong, and then amend it. And Ludo, well, he makes good on his thread to Levitado River, which again, I felt nothing for him just because we know it probably won't kill him, no matter how much Ludo thinks it will. But I gotta say, with River out of the picture, he actually becomes a good king because he has to. If only because the humans now fear him and know well enough to stroke his ego if they want to stay alive, especially with songs and tasteful art, and he's actually appreciative of their efforts.
Oh yes, this is wonderful. Let's hear it for Miss Bucket and the Muni's Youth Choir! Yeah?
But he's still listening to the wand and unleashes his fury whenever the wand tells him to. Star shows up to rescue her father, and Ludo is about to levitado her, but his wand tells him not to since this is a two-part episode, so she needs to come back and do something cool. Instead, she just gets dragged away while trying to plead her case.
You're being controlled, Ludo.
You're right. You're right, I am being controlled. Controlled by my lust for power.
Ludo! But Ludo refuses to listen and has Star sent to a cell. But I do like how Ludo is kind of a smartass about it.
You what-ta-ta-ta-to-ta-ta-to?
Levitato. Tatato. Tato. Levitato. You're Princess of Beauty and you don't even know Levitato?
Dude, did you not watch Baby? She doesn't even know basic magic. However, Star's words get to Ludo, and we find out he's as bad of a speller as Blitz.
They're about my W-O-N-D.
Better than bingo, which we all know is spelled B-Y-N-G-O. Ludo wants to inquire as to the wand in Toffee, and when Star tells him the truth, well...
In the wands? Get him out! I don't want to be corrupted! I don't want to be corrupted! How did he even get in there? How did he even get in there?
You know, I was gonna argue you could just chop off your hand, dude, but that would suck. How are you supposed to be a ruler with one hand? What are you, Captain Hook? He was a good leader. I mean, Mr. Smee liked him, but Star does know a way to get Toffee out of the wand, which...
And then I can go back to being a beloved monarch?
Yeah.
Tell him about the rabbit, Star. Tell him about the rabbits. Gasp. Are they gonna kill off Ludo? No, I liked him. These last, 20 pages would be for nothing. But Star says the whispering spell, and strangely, Ludo survives. Maybe it's because the wand's in his hand? Or he's a Kappa, so maybe he's a bit more resistant. Strangely, Solarius chapter says that Kappas are actually pretty easy to kill, so I have questions. Through the whispering spell, Star is able to go inside the wand and alert the others, while Toffee comes out and barters with Moon, saying that he will give Star back in exchange for his finger. We all know he's completely honest and can totally be trusted. So Moon gives it back, and Toffee comes back super hot again, albeit... Well, what a two-nickel situation. But honestly, yeah, I kind of feel bad for Ludo. He got everything he wanted, but it was all for nothing. He pleads with Toffee to tell him he was worth something, that there was some purpose to him being there, and Toffee just twists the knife further.
Please, just tell me, did I have any part to play in this?
No.
Oh, think about it. You got everything you wanted, and ultimately, it was hollow and it was all for nothing. Toffee never did any of this to help Ludo. He never did any of this to help monsters. He just wanted his finger back. He just wanted revenge against Moon because she embarrassed him. Heck, I don't think Ludo wanted Stars 1 to help monsters either, but you can tell that to at least some degree, he did care for monster kind a bit more than Toffee, if only by a super small margin. Plus, the humans did not love Ludo. They feared him. And despite what Machiavelli says, I think it's much better to be loved, because you will be respected, and if anything happens to you, those people will massively have your back. And not to mention, his own family hates him, and even Dennis, he alienated him. The only good you can say is, he's the one who deals the finishing blow to Toffee.
Turns out you're dead. That's what you get! Hey, look what I did! All by myself. Oh no! I can't see a thing!
Ha, good for you, Ludo. Woo! Boo! Toffee! Boo! Do it right now, I'm serious. But Ludo decides that because of this, he needs to do some self-discovery, and also find a therapist. And he decides that his version of therapy will be to let Star pick a random dimension and throw him into the void like last time, but not before getting rid of Spider and Bird.
I'm sorry. I have intimacy issues. Try to move on.
Aww, admittedly I think this was a bit rushed, but yes, it's good that Ludo recognizes he has a pattern. As in, he gets attached pretty quickly to people just to make himself feel better, which leads to a very one-sided friendship. Bird and Spider might respect him, but they're still animals who did their jobs for him, and they have their own lives that he took them from. So it's best to let them go.
Okay, well, here goes. Good luck.
Now, I could leave you off here, but I have a bit more to cover. A couple more Ludo episodes. See, I feel like this was the perfect chance to write off Ludo, even if there was a bit more they could do, which isn't necessary, just it would have been cool. But they do more with him. And we get a final phase with a mini storyline of sorts involving Ludo and his baby brother, Dennis, starting with Ludo, Where Art Thou? See, much like Adventure Time or South Park, Starverses sometimes had full-on episodes and storylines where Star wasn't a part of them, and I like what they did with Ludo and Dennis, even if, yeah, I think they could have done more, especially considering the final season. I think a reason it took me so long to get to Ludo was back when I was reviewing Starverses, the idea of doing hour-plus videos was unfathomable for me, and not helping is how tightly connected Dennis is to his arc, so it made me wonder, do I do a video on Ludo and Dennis? Do I split it up? How does it work? And now, I think it's better I just talk about Dennis here. According to Atticus Schaefer's Wikipedia page, he only speaks in 3 episodes, so there really is no use in just doing a whole video on just him. And he is kind of a satellite character, so yeah, you can't really talk about Ludo without talking about Dennis. In the Avarius household, they get some mail for Ludo. Really? Ludo gets mail? Or is it one of those, like, you're pre-approved for a credit card, or Ludo or a current resident type things? Because you could just throw those out, nobody cares, no offense. Well, in truth, somebody does care enough Dennis. Really, why does he have a normal name and every other dude is frickin' Zuno, Menudo, Confuso? Granted, I do like the name Dennis a little tiny bit, and not just because I like the guy from SpongeBob. Dennis receives Ludo's dimensional scissors in the mail, and he uses Miss Heinous' magic kit to try and find him. Oh, I guess monsters can use magic if only a teeny tiny bit magic I commission. Dennis is caught by his father, who was hitting the bottle, I mean hitting his wife, I mean hitting the needle, I mean the scratch and sniff stickers.
Nothing interrupted me and my stickers. Good old scratch and sniff.
I get them all confused. But here we find that, yeah, the Avariuses are actually crappy parents. Lord Bruto is an abusive abuser, and Lady Avarius is an enabler.
Thing like you're too good for us.
Oh, are we berating Dennis? It's not even dinner time.
He's hoarding Ludo stuff again.
Dennis, how could you?
Yeah, I already went over all of this, and you know my thoughts on Alador Blight, so I'm just gonna leave those there.
You're the worst.
You got something to say?
No.
No what?
No, sir.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, but no offense, you don't really need to raise your hand to people to be abusive. Albeit, that's a horrific implication, especially for a Disney Channel cartoon. And his mom just stands there like, oh, watch your fingers. No, you try to help him.
Come help me and your mother with our sticker.
And mind your nails. We need those fresh young fingers.
In the time since Ludo has been gone, Dennis has retrieved Spider and Bird and hid them in his closet, along with Tom Cruise and John Travolta. But not R. Kelly, nobody likes him for obvious reasons. Dennis is a monster, but he has standards. He also finds Ludo's skull hat, which is styling, and he decides to go and continue to find Ludo. And it turns out Ludo made good on living in a void. I mean, he lives on an asteroid, that's the farthest you can get, and his house is made of garbage. Totally, my house doesn't look like that if you've seen my reels, but it's time for a brotherly reunion.
What? Spider! That's you! Oh, my friend!
Oh well, at least he was happy to see somebody. Plus I like how he shows hospitality to Spider, his best girl, because sorry Bird. Because no offense, that was also his first girl, so it's kind of like, they're like, oh, why is Toffee like, I'll miss you most of all, Scarecrow? Well, Scarecrow was the first one she met, guys, so that's why. And Ludo has finally found himself. He decided to put the past behind him and run from it like a crazed cheetah, such as abandoning the skull he used when he ran the monster army.
Let me take care of this for you.
Well, but that's your helmet from when you ruled the monster army.
And now it's ruling the garbage.
That was a piece of your legacy.
You know what? I do kind of appreciate this. Plus, cheetahs are only fast in short bursts, so part of Ludo has him still keep his past around in the form of garbage, aka his parents, since he never confronted that part of himself, only ran from it.
Mom and Dad are driving me nuts.
But you can't say that in front of them, Dennis.
I think it's pretty symbolic. Like, there's all this garbage and toxicity around that he's never going to admit to. I mean, good thing he's kind of confronting them now. Dennis pleads with Ludo to come home since his parents are actually pretty bad. Like, as bad as they can get away with in a Disney cartoon.
Oh, thank you, Mother. I do make the best soda. What are you talking about, Dennis? Mother and Father love us.
Damn it, Ludo, except for the scratch and sniff stickers, but damn it, Ludo, and damn it, Dennis! How dare I see myself in you? Weirdly, I feel like Ludo is trying to recreate the childhood he wishes he had, or just he's in denial about how bad it was. Or he's still trying to defend Dennis from how bad it was by pretending it was all good. Like, oh, Mother and Father love us so much that they give us goodnight punches on our eyeballs. Wait, what? Just saying, he does the goodnight, my darling thing, so I love a good callback.
All tucked in. What's that? Oh, yes. How could I forget? Good night, my darling. They're finally asleep. What angels?
But the dummies show up again, and they keep showing up no matter what Dennis flings at them.
This is what we get
for raising brats like you and your brother.
And I'll be quite honest, I don't know what to make of this scene, like in the best possible way. See, the dummies start to spout out a bunch of triggering stuff that Dennis and Ludo likely heard every day growing up, and you've likely also heard if you grew up in similar circumstances.
Tell me fix it.
calling his own mother and father garbage. How about I teach you to apologize?
Watch his fingers, dear.
Not doing yourself any favors, Lady Avarius, but I don't know what exactly is happening. Like, if the dummies just spontaneously came to life because of the dimension, like it has special powers or the garbage is magic or something, or if Ludo is just pretending and acting crazy in order to get Dennis to realize his own worth, or he's, like, doing this without realizing, like Cartman did with his stuffed animals in 1%, or if they were gonna reveal the two were, like, high on dimension fumes or whatever and just hallucinating all of this. I just remember being really freaked out in the best way possible when I first saw it back in high school. But Dennis reaffirms his support for Ludo and says the real reason why he respects him. Because he was the one who recognized how bad their family was, and he actually made it out and made something of himself.
Dennis! You stood up for me! No one has ever stood up for me!
Of course. I love you, big brother.
But Ludo still wants to live in his self-exile, albeit he makes sure that Dennis is protecting Spider and Bird. That way they all have each other, even if he learned they should be on their own because he himself has attachment problems, but okay. Albeit there is a certain sign that Ludo might still not be over his past demons.
Hello, starring Marco. How about a game of charades?
And I'm gonna be honest, I know I have been pretty supportive of Ludo and his character journey up to this point, but okay, finally it's time for some criticism. 94 pages into my script. See, I think it was a nice conclusion to Ludo's arc, but honestly I wish that they cut that part out, since nothing really comes of it. He already made up with Star has presumably forgiven him, and I assume Marco would be the same way. If he wants to make up with anybody, I think an episode where he apologizes to Moon and River would also be pretty good, especially since he levitadoed River. Maybe River didn't mind living among the Eagles, but he did mind what happened to his wife and daughter. Maybe it could be like Apology Tour or My Name is Earl or Ricky Spanish, where he goes around apologizing until he hits a roadblock. Plus, this does apply to the rest of Ludo's family. I do wish we had a bit more of a focus on them, considering the whole double standards. I mean, Eclipsa is on trial, but she'd think of the fact that a monster family is siding with the Magic High Commission just so they would have privileges. I mean, are they even still in power? I know Comet said that Archduke Batwin was, but like, what about them? And Moon said she was acquainted with them, so that gives me more confusion. Which again, I just wish they clarified all this because it's really fertile territory and I love me some good lore. And honestly, I think Ludo not being featured in season 4 outside of one episode was a major missed opportunity for a variety of reasons. See, season 4 is all about Eclipsa trying to get accepted by the people of Muni as their queen and doing a lot of PR, and she has a worse time of it than Ludo, and there would be a lot for him to do in this case. Plus, while Ludo's last arc in the show is all about forgiveness, well, there are people he did not apologize to, like the monsters he led, especially Buffrog. Like, yes, he does interact with his former henchmen, and there are no hard feelings, but he never talks to Buffrog ever again. Maybe Ludo apologizes and Buffrog doesn't forgive him, or whatever. It's just, again, this is like a weird mischance. Or he learns his actions do indeed have consequences, since according to Darren Nefsey, some of his monsters did not survive Storm the Castle. Plus, we never really find out what happened to all those rats. Did they just go away? Did they go back to doing rat things? Are they, like, running a Ludo cult, like Blitz and the Goats? I know I say this all the time, that the Avarius family could have been major players, but the same also applies to Ludo. Continuing on with the Game of Thrones parallels, and him being like Tyrion, maybe Eclipsa makes him one of her advisors, and he finds he's better supporting than leading, since he knows how monsters work. And hey, he was unsupported as a ruler, and this was super recently. Maybe he knows what it's like. Maybe at first it tanks her approval ratings further because nobody likes Ludo, but then his attempts do start to work, since he no longer has the wand breathing down his neck. I mean, he did applaud this one lady in a choir for writing songs about him, and he only levitadoed them because the wand told him to.
Oh yes, this is wonderful. Let's hear it for Miss Bucket and the Muni's Youth Choir! Yeah?
However, Ludo does get one final focus episode, which despite my criticisms, I think puts a really good bow on his story. In Princess Quasar Caterpillar and the Magic Bell, Ludo goes back to his old ways, but this time he goes to another dimension, and as he puts it,
After all of the work I've done on myself, I'm back to the same old pattern of coveting magical objects, but never getting them.
I think it doesn't help that unlike him, Princess Quasar is actually a bit more skilled at basic magic than Star, since she knows their dimension's version of Levitato and has a good relationship with Indexia, aka Sexy Wino Anglosseric.
Bell, it said Bell.
No, Ludo. You definitely said wand. And this is a bell.
All right.
Dennis shows up one day after another failed attempt, this time with a surprise in mind. He actually bought a house, and it's better than buying a zoo, which in this day and age, buying a house is actually impressive. Not many kids own houses of their own unless they're rich, and we know the Avariuses really don't have much. Again, Dennis is an excellent cycle breaker. His father wastes his family's money on bending the elbow, if you catch my drift. Those damn stickers. Well, Dennis implicitly worked hard or saved up enough money to buy a house. Not just any house, the remains of their old house.
Surprise!
Castle Avarius.
I moved out of Mom and Dad's, spent my entire savings, and bought our home back. I even got the deed.
Which again, maybe it's because Ludo taking over his family's castle was recent, but if Dennis is anything to go by, if they did scrump and save, they really could have lived anywhere but a rundown old shack. And in a way, I hate to say it, they kind of did it to themselves. Like, really, I hate to say it. And while I do massively applaud Dennis, well, Ludo doesn't.
I'm going to leave now.
What's wrong?
I've been trying to move away from my past, and that castle is the worst reminder of it.
And I kind of get why. I mean, yes, Ludo did explain it, but he's not mentally ready to go back yet, especially to the place where he was abused growing up and where he did his dastardly deeds, and where he also schemed to steal the wand and then lost everything. But he is willing to stay for Dennis's sake. And they go on a tour.
This was my scheming room. I first schemed up my plan for stealing the wand here. That was an exciting day.
Oh, yeah, I do that with my bathtub. I get the best writing done when I'm wet. Like, I've written whole scripts in there. But I do appreciate how he's doing all of this for Dennis. But Dennis has hired some people to come help them rebuild. His monster henchmen, all of whom have no hard feelings. Again, that's why I wish they brought in Buffrog, just because they think Ludo was going to go back to square one and steal the wand. And I kind of wonder if Dennis did this on purpose in order to get Ludo to confront his past. But the henchmen do believe that he can now steal the wand from Eclipsa, such as either by marrying Eclipsa or just going to the monster temple and stealing it.
You know, I bet the boss is gonna make Eclipsa fall in love with him and earn the wand through marriage. He's single, she's single, it's obvi.
But the first one won't work because Eclipsa is still married to Glavgor, Crystal be damned, and I don't know if it's a legal marriage or a spiritual marriage, but I don't think she's going after anybody but Glabi. And Star is also there, and she can use magic without the wand, so he's gonna be toast. Just saying, Ludo never really went after Star on Muni, I don't think. But Ludo can't handle the cold turkeys any longer, because tapering off is actually a way better strategy when you have addiction, and he starts scheming.
Sacrifice all of you as a diversion, and while the guards are busy with you, I'd sneak up to her room, incapacitate her while she's still asleep, and then I'd take what's always been mine.
Oh, Ludo, you hit rock bottom. How could you? I thought the best of you. Even your brother is concerned.
Ludo! I only left for 5 minutes, and you're scheming behind my back.
Well, what did you expect?
Heck, at least it's not scratch and sniff stickers. And as it turns out, Dennis forgot to wear his glasses when signing a very important contract. Dennis, this is like day one stuff, that's why I wear my glasses at all times. And Dennis did not read the contract, which clearly outlined that he was going to get screwed over. So, you know, he got screwed over. Once the castle is rebuilt, then Mr. Bobby Worst here can come and take everything.
He's lien holder, one evil J. Land buried, and the third signed Dennis Avarius. Dennis, you just signed away our entire family fortune and our ancestral home.
Dennis, his name is literally, oh my god, I love his name, Mr. Evil Land Baron. I'm sorry, I love it so much. But Ludo realizes that for his brother's sake, he needs to scheme. One last time, one awesome time, and I was waiting for this. He finally accepts the part of himself he repressed for so long if it means familial love.
You're probably wondering who I am, so let me introduce myself. I have waged a war on the Butterfly family for years.
Yes, it's awesome! Oh yeah, he fed Mr. Evil Dude, Mr. Evil Land Baron, to his minions. Look at him rewarding them finally. And to make it better, he realized that home isn't home if his family isn't there, so he reconciled with some of his siblings to come and live with him. And he also saved them from their parents.
Surprise!
Wait, Yudo? Dudo? Kudo? Mudo? Tudo? Fudo? Zudo? Even Menudo!
Aw, they all made it out. Although an Avarius that is loyal to their parents, or maybe the Avarius heir, would also be pretty cool to explore. But yay!
This isn't Mom and Dad's castle anymore.
It's ours, isn't it?
Yahoo! I did it! We did it!
And that was Ludo. Honestly, I think he has the best character arc out of anybody. It's natural, it's relatable, and it's very human for a monster. But yeah, I do wish he did more in Season 4. No offense, I just love Ludo that much. I wish he got more than one episode. I mean, he does get a quick line in the finale where he's like, "Sup?"
Hey, stop right to fly, wanna play?
Not now, Ludo!
But that's it, really. And it's really just him and Dennis playing basketball, and I don't know what else to say, so bye!